After Lord Zedd became a ranger, Grace and Torona were confused as they did not know how he had obtained a morpher. Then Lord Zedd explains to them that he placed a device in Zordon's command center to drain all his power and steal it for himself. With this he was able to create his own morpher and feels that now no one can stop him. Grace tries to give Torona orders to leave and shut the whole place down, but he doesn't want to leave her alone. She tells him that Zedd was the evil emperor before all this, so he is capable of anything. After that, Zedd shows them his new power and attacks them both by throwing awesome energy. In Safe Haven, we can see Alpha One has been destroyed and Robot 11 has been slowly disarming it. Despite this, Alpha One keeps trying to power up his system, but 11 tells him to stop as it will overload his circuits and be harmful to him. Then 11 apologizes to him for having him in that situation, but Alpha tells him that he has nothing to apologize for as he too once had a master that he had to serve. Then 11 tells him that he now has another new master and that it would be wise for them to talk about that new master. Alpha One feels this as a threat, so he tells 11 that he does not have the ability to feel fear and that when he is free, he will use his body. Then 11 shows him a new body that can be for him but tells him that they must start with the interrogation. Meanwhile, in another room are Trini and Zack watching everything that 11 is doing with Alpha One. Trini feels bad about what they are doing as she thinks that even though Alpha is evil, still, he is a conscious being and knows that Zordon would never have allowed that. Zack tells her that Zordon is not there to tell them what to do and made it clear to them that they are on their own side. He also tells Trini that she can't guess, she's the leader for a reason. Trini tells her that red is only a color and that they are both in this together. The two are very close and have a moment of romance which doesn't last long as Zack tells her it's hard to believe in that right now. Trini apologizes to him for not telling him what happened between her and Jason, but Zack tells her that's none of his business. Then Trini asks him, "What if I want it to happen?" At that moment they are both interrupted by Aisha, who tells them that Kimberly is trying to call Tommy, so they are soon to leave. Back on Earth at the juice bar are Tommy and Jason about to fight in training form, and the two are having a conversation before they start. Tommy thanks Jason for taking him along to train and Jason asks him about Kimberly. Tommy tells him that she still hasn't communicated and the last time they spoke she said she wasn't going to apologize. Obviously, this is because Zordon had given them the order to return to Earth and the Rangers stayed in Safe Haven. Tommy then begins to explain to Jason that he feels that he and Kimberly are drifting apart, as Rangers and as a couple. He also tells her that he just wants her to be okay and then asks for Jason's opinion on what he would do. Jason tells her that he is the least likely to give love advice, but he can kick her ass. The two of them begin fighting to spar, but at that moment a huge explosion is heard, and part of the juice bar is destroyed. Tommy starts communicating with Zordon to find out if they were seeing everything that was going on. Alpha 5 tells him it's Mistressville and Tommy asks Zordon if the other Rangers are on their way. Zordon tells him not yet, but that he already alerted Billy to the situation, and he is on his way. Then Tommy tells Zordon that they should know that Mistressville didn't come alone. We can see that she arrived with the Green Ranger, which is Matt, but apparently Mistressville brainwashed him. In Safe Haven we can see Kimberly sitting in a dark place and Yale goes to join her. She starts to vent to him and tells him that Tommy hasn't responded all day and that she hasn't been able to communicate with Zordon and Alpha either. She feels that apparently, she didn't know how to handle this situation well and maybe she made everything worse by not following Zordon's orders. At that moment, Adam appears and tells Kimberly that she needs to go into the room with the other Rangers as everything is getting crazy. Inside the room, they begin to listen to the conversation Alpha One is having with Robot 11. The Rangers say that it is very sinister, and they don't know if Rita programmed it or just filled it with dark magic. Then they start to hear Alpha say that Mistress Vil is going to take Dark out and that Safe Haven is inconsequential. Then 11 asks him why come to Safe Haven if it's inconsequential. Then Alpha replies that Mistress Vil has other priorities, plus she has an infinite army. He also tells her that she is building an army to defeat Zordon and the Rangers. He then tries to talk about the Navigator, but 11 tells him that he won't get his hands on the Navigator they have in Safe Haven. Alpha tells him that this is not the only Navigator within Mistress Vil's reach. With that last message, the Rangers were shocked as they now know that Rita must be on Earth looking for the other Navigator, and they know that Grace possibly has it as she said they had found the ruins of the Ark. On Earth in Promethea, Lord Zedd throws Trona against the wall and lifts Grace by the neck to force her to release Golder and the others. Then Trona returns with the Navigator in her hands and asks Zedd if he knows what it is. He also tells her that now that he is transformed, he can feel its power. Obviously, Zedd knows what it is, so Trona tells him that Mistress Vil is looking for him, so, if he has it, then she will come to him. She also tells him that she is willing to give it to him if he releases Grace. Lord Zedd releases Grace and suddenly another alarm starts going off and Zedd gets upset as he thinks they are trying to kill him with a headache. Trona explains to him that the alarm is because someone broke through the perimeter, and they realize that Mistress Vil has arrived. On Earth, Tommy asks Jason to leave and try to keep the civilians safe, but Jason doesn't want to leave him alone. The Green Ranger tells Jason to leave as it is useless since he just wants to kill Rangers. Remember that Jason no longer has the powers since he gave them up to stay on Earth to take care of his dad. Jason, very angry, tries to attack the Green Ranger, but he hits him very hard. At that moment, Billy arrives and the first thing he says is to apologize to Matt. At that moment, the Rangers try to Morphin, but Matt says that they are not going to wait and starts the attack. Then Matt confesses to the Rangers that they shouldn't wait for the other Rangers to arrive since Finster cut the command center communicators and Kimberly doesn't know they are in trouble. The Rangers begin the attack. Tommy fights Matt and Billy tries to stop the putty patrollers. Tommy tells Matt that he should fight since he knows he belongs in there, but the new evil Matt scoffs. Billy tells Tommy that maybe by destroying his sword they can free him since it was what freed him when he was the Green Ranger under Rita's spells. At Promethea, Mistress Vil tells Grace to come out and that she knows she is locked up with the Navigator since Matt told her everything. The security of the place tries to stop Mistress Vil, but they are unsuccessful. Grace and Trona try to escape, although he tells her that they have security protocols for these cases, but she tells him that, if Mistress Vil knows Matt's thoughts, then nothing is going to help because she knows everything. At that moment, Mistress Vil and Vessel manage to get inside, but Lord Zedd greets them by telling her that he had already warned her what would happen if they met again. Mistress Vil starts teasing him by telling him that she likes his new look since she doesn't have to keep seeing his brain. Then Zedd tells her that he would have crossed the entire galaxy to get his revenge, but she is such a fool that she came to him. At that moment, she gives the order to Vessel to fight Zedd and he gets very angry as he wanted to fight her. Lord Zedd and Vessel start to fight, and the first thing Zedd did was to take away his staff. Despite this, Vessel keeps fighting since he carries a sword on his back. In the battle with the Green Ranger, Matt starts saying crazy things to try to make the Rangers angry and apparently, he is making Billy angry. Because of this, when Matt tries to attack them, Billy kicks him and then tells Matt that he will never leave him again. In Promethea, Grace and Trona are trying to escape, grateful that Lord Zedd is keeping Mistress Vil and Vessel busy. They are both thinking about the latest contingency plan, but suddenly they run into Mistress Vil. In the other battle, Billy tries to keep attacking Matt, but Matt says it's game over. We then see that Matt has Billy on his knees with his sword to his neck about to finish him off, but at that moment an arrow pushes Matt's sword away. Kimberly and Aisha had arrived to help Tommy and Billy. Lord Zedd hits Vessel so hard that he breaks his helmet. As this battle happens, we can read Aisha's words telling Matt that they know that underneath that dark magic and underneath that helmet is their friend. While she says that, we can see that Vessel shows his face and Zedd is very surprised because he sees Zordon's face. Vessel took this opportunity of Zedd's carelessness to attack him very hard. In Safe Haven we can still see Alpha One talking to 11, and he tells him that while they are struggling to follow Mistress Vil's plans, she has already advanced to the next point. While Alpha One keeps talking, saying many things about Mistress Vil's plans, we can see a person walking through the corridors until we get to the vault where they have all the villains imprisoned in jars. Surprisingly, this person is Lord Drakkon, who freed Kia, who had been a Blue Omega Ranger and had betrayed the team.